I shot one in Bulgaria called The Grudge 3. I don't know if you ever saw that, Jim. No, actually, I think the movie's pretty good. If you haven't seen it, went straight to DVD, but that was their intention all along. They had no intentions of even putting it in the theaters. But yeah, I spent a month in Bulgaria, and I think Oscar's going to be in Romania for like at least 2 months. So he's going to come back a shell of himself, and he's probably going to need you to pick him up because it's pretty depressing. Of course, I was also shooting The Grudge 3. This is like not the most uplifting like subject matter. It wasn't like I was shooting a romantic comedy or a musical. Anyway, should we do some questions? Okay. It's something, I don't know that I've ever had like a problem with panic attacks per se. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm having one, or I'll say that I'm having one. And I still struggle with this sometimes, like anxiety, like auditioning, is something that I've had to really work to overcome. Something about like there being like this set up time where you go and compete against other people and you're judged. It doesn't really vibe well with me. I don't know, that's weird. But I know some actors that really enjoy it, so, sometimes I just gotta take a deep breath and remind myself that everything is exactly as it should be, and I've got a lot of amazing things going on in my life, and I have to like check in with myself and take a second just to like calm myself down sometimes when I get like that, because in my line of work there's a lot of uncertainty, and I don't know when my next job's going to come. I don't know, so I carry some anxiety with that. I do know that sometimes I feel like I'm the happiest when I'm working, and when I'm not, I tend to have anxiety and I worry. It's my mom's fault, really, right? It's always our mom's fault. No, my mom's wonderful, but yeah, I definitely take after her. When I start to act up like that, my wife likes to call me Carol. Which I don't really like at all. She's like, calm down, Carol. Anyway, I hope that helped some. Just know that you're not alone. A lot of people deal with that, and just remember to breathe and lean on your friends when you need them, because that's what they're there for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey.
I kind of said something about this morning, but I was wondering if you had a shirt on represent like Jared, Jensen, and Misha, what would you have it say?
I don't know what I would have it say yet, but if I do ever have a t-shirt, I was telling you this morning, what's your name?
Devin.
Devin. I met Devin at the coffee shop this morning. I would probably have to put my dogs on it to help with the sales. And it would, I think maybe the proceeds should go to animal rescue of some sort, Yeah, I love the dogs. Love rescue dogs. I've got 2. They're a total pain in the ass, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, really, if you're ready for a dog, go rescue one. There's so many great dogs at the shelters and rescues, in every city you can find. They're just like the best dogs, and they just need like a second chance and a good, loving home. So it would be something to have to do with that, I think, if I ever did that. I would feel weird putting my face on a t-shirt at this point. I mean, look at Jensen. How do you follow that up? I can't even look at you right now. Thanks, Devin. Yeah, you can cheer. That's acceptable.
Hi. Henry has the line where he says, "I prefer adventures of a literary nature."
Yes.
So I'm curious, what do you think Henry's favorite literary adventure would be? And if you don't know that, what's yours?
What's his favorite book, per se, or his favorite literary adventure? Should have done some better background work on Henry. That's a great question. That's a line that I think a lot of fans really responded to, and I enjoyed saying it. Maybe like The Grapes of Wrath. So, something kind of, To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah, something like that. And you know, I've done a fair amount of reading. I wouldn't consider myself an avid reader per se. I do read a lot. I tend to read a lot of scripts and that sort of thing. The last book that I read was the first Game of Thrones, which for me was like really daunting because that's a lot. That is a dense book, and I got about a third of the way through the second book. And,
Try reading all 5.
I mean, like I said, I was watching the show while trying to read it at the same time, and it was like, let me go watch it and I'll come back to the books, and I haven't. But because the show is so good, it's so good. Like, what an amazing journey those actors are on, huh? Like with that show, wow, just never know. Yeah, so that's the latest book I've read. Thank you.
Sorry if you've been asked this question before. This is my first convention.
It's okay.
So if you were to come back as Henry Winchester on the show, what do you think his role would be in it? Like, what part would he play? Because, you know, sadly he had died. So would he come back and be like a backstory on John's past, or what do you think?
You know, having talked to Adam Glass about this, Adam's like, his idea is he'd love to have Henry come back in the modern day world and continue on that path, you know, because he likes the conflict of Henry in today's society, and I think there's a lot of good stuff there that they could build on, and and he would just be like, you know, trying to kind of save his grandsons, you know, from this life that they've chosen, and but there's still, you know, so much to do also with John, and I think it would be cool to go back in time and go back to 1958 and try to talk to my, you know, young son, try to talk to my wife. I think there's a whole storyline there they could do with Millie, you know, which would be really, really cool. I don't know what they're waiting on. I mean, I know there's a lot of other storylines on the show, but I feel like there's a whole well of good stuff there that they could do. So we'll see. Hopefully it happens. Thank you. You're welcome to your first con. I hope you're having a great weekend. Hey.
Hi. We've heard some of the other actors say that they were surprised at how dedicated and intense this fandom is. And I was wondering, have you ever been recognized out in public as Henry Winchester and somebody didn't know your name and they're just like, Henry! And they ran up and
Well, honestly, I think it only happened once. I don't really look like Henry.
No.
Like in my day-to-day life, you know, like I usually have a beard and my hair's not quite how Henry styled his hair. I don't really dress like Henry, so. But it did happen once. I was at a little restaurant near my house, and I was just picking up food or something, and I was standing at the counter waiting to check out, and I looked over, and there's this guy. He was so sweet. He was just standing there. He was just standing there like. And I was like, oh gosh. And I'm like, yeah, it's gotta be supernatural. And so, sure enough, like I got my food. He was so nice. His name was Jared, actually. And he was really, for real, his name was really Jared. And he was really excited that his name was Jared, too, which I thought was cool. It was like a week or so before the Burbank convention. So he was like, are you gonna be at BurCon? You know, he was really excited and asked me if I was going to be there. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there, man. I'll be there. What's your name? He's like, Jared. So cool. And he was really sweet, and we chatted for a second, and then he followed me out to my car. And the conversation continued, you know, and continued as I got into my car and, you know, said goodbye and drove away. But I was very flattered, and it was very, very sweet of him. And I don't mind it at all. You know, I think it's pretty cool. And you guys, you are everywhere. Like, and I had no idea, you know, and the rest of the world has no idea either, which is pretty cool. They don't know. So it's like this kind of best kept secret. This underground group. Thank you. Hey.
So I run a Ask blog on Tumblr for a character, and I have to make up a lot of stuff that the show doesn't always address. So I was wondering, do you ever address Henry's childhood or anything like that? Do you ever have any canon that you made up in your head that you kind of keep on the fly?
No. No. Wait, what is it that you do?
I run a Sam Ask blog where Tumblr people submit questions and I answer with artwork.
Oh, I got you. Is this like fan fiction kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's a comic, sort of.
I see.
A lot of comics, a lot of art.
Oh, cool.
Instead of actual writing.
On Tumblr?
Yeah.
Right, got you. I'm not as familiar with Tumblr, I'll be honest with you. I'm doing my best with Twitter at this point. Yeah, no, that's interesting. No, I don't think that I've really delved that far back into Henry's history, his past. So that's now you're going to make me think about it. Yeah, going into shooting that first episode, I was really more focused on just kind of creating who Henry is, in that moment, and what the Men of Letters, means to him, and and then just trying to go on this wild ride with his grandsons, and it's a really fun show to work on. There's so many levels, and there's just so much going on. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around unless you know the show like so many of you do. But when I first started on it, I felt a bit like an outsider. Building Henry and building that whole character and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't done a whole lot of that, but I'll think about it. Thank you. I'll do my best to answer that one.
Hi, how's it going? I actually have a related sort of question, and forgive me in advance if you have almost no answer and you're like,
Okay.
So, prior to the introduction of Henry as a character, we had already been sort of given a little bit of backstory with regards to John's father, things like him being a mechanic and that sort of thing. And I was wondering, what kind of day job would Henry have had in addition to being a man of letters, and how he had maybe responded to his son's interest in cars, because obviously John goes on to be a car guy, and he goes on to be a car guy, and the military background and all that kind of stuff.
So did you say that there was a bit of information about Henry, that Henry was a mechanic?
Yeah, well, before we were given a Henry, we got a little bit of that in the earlier seasons. They had mentioned stuff about there being John's father, and then we get the Men of Letters storyline, which, good choice.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, because nobody ever told me about Henry being a mechanic. That would have been a nice bit of information. Henry's, I think he has kind of an engineering mind, so I think that would totally make sense. And I will definitely keep that in mind if I ever do get to go back. Yeah, I think he's obviously considers himself a learned man and a bit bookish. Some sort of engineering type thing, I think he likes to figure out how things work.
Maybe planes or something a little bit more classic.
Airplanes? That'd be cool. I can do that. I think Henry's the type of guy that likes to learn how to build things, how to take them apart. What makes him tick. He's very kind of by the book, and he's the kind of guy that follows directions, likes things in order. So some sort of engineering thing would probably make sense. Thanks. Hey.
Hi, how's it going? So what's going on in Henry's heaven right now? What's going on up there? How are you doing?
How's Henry doing in heaven? How do you know he's in heaven?
How's it going down there?
He's doing good. He's taking it easy. I'd like to think he's in heaven. He's not happy to be there. because he wants to be back on Earth with his grandsons. But yeah, I think he's good. You know, I honestly have not given that any thought either. I haven't worked on the show in a year, and before that, it was a year before my first episode. So, no, I think Henry's he's biding his time. He's hanging out. He's still hopeful that he's going to come back. He's hopeful that there's going to be some way that he's going to be able to get back down there and run around with those two knucklehead grandsons of his. So he's looking down on them, just shaking his head, though. Especially at Sam. No, probably more at Dean. Thanks. Hey.
Hey. So my question is, now that you're really good friends with Loud and Swain.
That's Sarah?
Yeah, all right. Now that you're really good friends with Loud and Swain.
Oh, we're not friends. I hate these guys.
They're jerks. I can see. And also we know that you met Jason Mans.
Yes.
Are you going to be crashing some stages soon, or doing a CD?
You know, possibly. I had never done a stage it show before. I had no idea what that was, and Jason invited me over to his place, and he's like, so basically we're just gonna like hang out and sit on the couch, play music, and it streams live onto the internet. And I was like, okay, this is weird. And it was a lot of fun, actually. The weirdest thing is that like we could see everyone. I don't know how many of you have participated in something like this, but you know, we could see everyone popping up on the screen and everything you guys were saying, but we couldn't hear you, obviously, you know, so it was a little weird, but it was fun. Yeah, I'm sure, I know Jason does those pretty regularly, and he's asked me to come back over. I think before doing something like that, though, I think Jason, I'm gonna come up with something to put on his next album. I think he's gonna do like a compilation album, and he's asked me to sing something on it, so. Yeah. So thank you for the reminder. I do need to reach out to him because I really want to try to get that done sometime in the next few weeks. Because why wait, right? Let's just keep this thing going. But Jason's great. These guys, I mean, these guys, I can't say this enough. These guys are such incredible musicians. I mean, they really are. They're like trained and they can play anything. And Jason's like a real like singer-songwriter. I mean, he's like the real deal. I've never written a song. I mean, I've written nothing good, let me say that. You know, it's a tough thing, right? The song's not easy. And Jason Mans is a really good songwriter. And I found out in Vegas that they call him Angel Voice. That's like his nickname, Angel Voice. Because he has the sweetest voice. It's just like effortless, you know? So anyway, it's fun to meet people like that, to get to collaborate with musicians like this. It's just like a real treat for me. Thanks. Hey.
I'm a middle school teacher, and I was wondering, what is one memory from middle school that's really stuck with you?
Middle school memory. Oh boy. You know, probably, oh gosh, middle school. Some stuff started to get weird. Middle school was cool. You know, in my hometown, I grew up in a town called Angleton, Texas, and there were four elementary schools. East side, west side, north side, south side, makes sense. I went to west side, and the four schools merged into, at the time was one middle school, and that was, I mean, as most of you know, when you all of a sudden you're in a new school with a bunch of new kids, it can be a little intimidating. But yeah, middle school was cool. I always wanted to be a football player. Like that was like my childhood dream, was to be a football player. And my football career pretty much ended after 8th grade. So I was like the B team quarterback. Like I wasn't even on A team, but I was the B team quarterback. And basically like every other play was like handing the ball off to the running back, you know? So I mean, I have some fun memories of playing football in middle school, and probably like that's when, you know, I really started enjoying like being in choir and that sort of thing, and drama, and doing plays, and traveling around and doing like, you know, choir competitions and that sort of thing. I think that's when that really started to kind of take off, and then that continued into high school, you know. Yeah, I was like super cool in high school. I mean, I was in drama, and I was in choir, and I was on the swim team. So That was like the trifecta of getting picked on. It was like, what?
Choir's not that bad.
Choir's awesome. I love choir, but I'm just saying, like, I got picked on some. Like, it may surprise you. I know that I look like really like cool and hip and all that, but you know, I remember I had my letter jacket had like a choir, like, because I made like first chair state choir. I was like, yeah, thank you. When I was like a sophomore, and I was so proud of that. I put the patch on my letter jacket. Big mistake. Big mistake. And I remember the basketball team like walking by the swimming pool, and I'd be wearing my Speedo, you know. And, yeah, I know. I had like 0% body fat. I think I weighed about maybe 150 pounds, but I was in great shape. I swam like, you know, my whole childhood all the way through high school. But yeah, I remember like that was not a good look. Like, you know, the Speedo in high school, that wasn't that cool of a look. But thank God there were drama competitions to make up for all of that, you know, because nothing really like solidifies your coolness in high school like nailing a monologue at the local competition, you know, or getting crazy in an improv group. I joke. That's like, I love that stuff. And any of you guys that are into that, just have a blast with that. Don't listen to what other kids say. They're just jealous anyway. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
If you could be on stage with any musician or band, other than, you know, them obviously, who would you choose?
I mean, I'm sure there's some older ones, like some classic ones. More currently, though, Bruno Mars comes to mind. That song that we attempted to do last night.
How do you mean attempted? We rocked.
Thank you. It was fun. It's a really, really fun song, and I saw him do it on Ellen a couple days ago. And he's phenomenal. He's got so much energy. He moves so well. He's got just a killer voice. He's like the real deal. I still love Sam Smith too. He's got a very unique quality to his voice, very, very unique sound, and obviously had a really great year this year. So yeah, those are like probably two current ones that I really like a lot. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hey, oh, and Taylor Swift. Just throwing that out there.
I would first like to say, well, this is my first con, and I did not imagine you would be this gorgeous in person.
Stop it. Okay.
And I guess this is a similar question to one she asked. I was just wondering, you said you're in choir, and I also sing. What's your favorite type of music to sing? Oh, by the way, you have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you. Favorite type of music to sing? You know, I feel like I have one of those voices, like I grew up doing choir and all that sort of thing, and I have some classical training. You know, my first 2 years of college, I was actually an opera major, and then I switched my major because I just was like, I don't want to be an opera singer. I love it. I have so much respect for opera singers, but that just wasn't like the road I wanted to go down. So, but I had that sort of training, and I feel like there's a lot of different styles that I can like, you know, do. But I just love I love standards, you know. I don't play an instrument well enough that I really feel confident to like, you know, I'm so jealous of like these guys like Billy plays the hell out of that guitar, you know. It's never really took for me. I play a little bit of piano, but something about just standing on stage with a microphone. Like I love standalone singers, you know, like Sam Smith, amazing. Michael Bublé, phenomenal. If you ever have a chance to see Michael Bublé in concert, go see him. If you like that kind of music, he's incredible. He's like the modern day Sinatra to me. I mean, he really is. He's such a showman. So yeah, and I love I love like a lot of the old like, soul singers, you know, like Al Green and Marvin Gaye, those kind of guys, you know. I like that kind of stuff a lot. I remember in junior high, junior high memory, here it is. It took me a while to get to it. we were singing, I think I was in like the 7th grade, and we were singing In the Still of the Night. And I had like the solo. And I remember this cute little black lady. It was one of the moms, one of the guys in the choir, like, you know, she stood up and was just like, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, my mom would never do that. And she shouldn't. Yeah, so there's just something about that music that really kind of like moves me, you know? In the still of the night, I held you tight. Oh, I love you so. Promise I'll never let you go. In the still of the night, in the still of the night. Come here, you. Oh, that's fine. Something happened. What happened? All right, now I can see you guys. Hey.
Sorry, ladies, I made it back.
So you're all
I'm in your
talented
seat.
and an
I'm in
actor
your
and
seat.
famous
Is this
and
your
stuff.
seat or is this 28?
So while you were rising to your glory and all, is there any actors or any famous people that you met that you really, really adored, and when you met them, you were just like,
Is there anybody that I fangirled over? Is that what you're saying? Well, she's so cute. Rising in all my glory. As Richard reminds me, I've peaked. It's been a wild ride, but this is pretty much the pinnacle for me, guys. Yeah, you know, I've been really lucky to, in some of the jobs that I've had, to get to work with some really, really awesome people. And John Corbett is a close friend of mine from Northern Exposure. Played Aiden in Sex and the City. I did a little movie. It was like my first movie. I played Elvis Presley in a movie called Elvis Has Left the Building. Small supporting role, a couple scenes, but it was John and Kim Basinger were in the movie. And I'll never forget, like, my first day in Albuquerque. I was so excited to be like getting to be in a movie with like movie stars. It was like crazy. And I walked into the hotel, and John, he's like 6'5", and he's just like 6'5", with just charisma. I mean, the guy's so charming. And he stood up, he's like, hey, I'm John. I'm gonna go downtown and get a couple pops. You wanna come with me? And I'm like, well, hell yeah. So next thing you know, I'm like in John Corbett's pickup truck, like driving downtown Albuquerque, you know, to get a couple beers. And he's just like a good old boy and like really genuine, and we're still very close. You know, another one that just comes to mind that I'm Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I mean, I don't know this guy that well at all, but having met him 2 weeks ago in Vegas, like, I mean, the guy was so genuine and like nice, and I don't know if these guys have met him before, but I certainly hadn't, and I didn't know what to expect, and none of us really knew what he was going to be like, but he was like so cool, and he was also really like, we just had a really nice conversation, you know, and he told me, you know, like, as you know, I mean, his career, like, I don't know how old he was when he did Supernatural, but maybe you guys know. But he said, you know, his career really didn't take off till like his late 30s, you know? And it was at a time when he felt really kind of down and like, you know, he was really discouraged. He was ready to give up. And then within a matter of like a few months, he got like, you know, Supernatural, and then it was like, you know, Grey's Anatomy and something else, and things just really started to take off. And now the guy can't stop working, you know? But yeah, just in a short conversation I had with him, like, that was really cool of him to like say those things to me, you know. I was like, all right, so there's still a chance, you know? There's still a chance. I mean, I'd like to think I'm a young 36.
I'd like to.
Thank you.
Hi, Gail.
Hey.
Hey, you probably answered this already, but yesterday you were talking about the different directors that you worked with. Can you tell us what it was like working with Misha?
Yes. I didn't know what to expect from Misha. I had never met Misha before because Misha was not in my first episode. And he wasn't around at all when I was shooting. All I knew of Misha was, you know, him as cast. So I didn't know what to expect. And for some reason I thought he might be a dick. I don't know. But he wasn't. Really? He was actually not your experience?
I'm sorry, I just put my, I thought you were talking about Misha Collins.
Yeah, you don't know the Misha we know.
I didn't have my headphones in.
No, but since then, I know he is a dick. But he was very cool. He found me like right away, you know. He came and found me, and we had a nice little conversation. And he was fun. He was cool. I mean, he did a really, really great job. I assumed that he had directed the show before, you know, because he was really sharp. Obviously, he'd been working on the show quite a bit and knew the crew very well. And they were really great too, because you know, and the same thing when my first episode was Serge. You know, it was Serge's first episode directing, and I really noticed how the crew and everybody came together to help him. You know, when he was kind of in a tight spot. And same with Misha. You know, like if he was ever a little unsure about something, everybody just kind of teamed together and they figured it out. And I thought Misha would be him. I mean, he was great. I loved working with him. And also, he's an actor, obviously, so sometimes it's nice being directed by an actor, you know.
Do us one more question.
Sure.
Please, one more.
Hey.
Hello, darling.
Thought you were Misha for a second.
As a fellow past man in the modern day, how did you, put up with it?
What the hell is going on right now? It's not
What was the question?
I was asking, darling, if, seeing as you are a fellow man from the past, like myself, but not as far as the past as me, obviously.
Yes.